Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining in tonight's Ultimate Consumer Seminar. We are constantly analyzing the market, comparing prices, and wondering will they rise or fall. So, what is the right entry price and how can you maximize your home's value with URA plan? Tonight, our speaker, Mr. Alex Lim, ERA Executive Director of Agency, will take us through an in-depth exploration of affordability, transformation, and exit strategy in today's market. So before we begin, I would like to give a short introduction on our speaker. Alex has been in the real estate industry over 18 years and has been leading various project sales team in ERA. He has always been imparting his investment knowledge and experience in the real estate market to our ERA teammates, and he is also our featured speaker in various public talk and consumer seminar. Without further ado, let's all welcome Alex. With Alex, over to you.
Good evening. Thanks, Kelvin. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys can hear me loud and clear. Thanks for tuning in this very evening. Thanks for taking your precious time to actually hear, how you can actually maximize the value of your home. My name is Alex. I'm one of the executive division director of agency in ERA. So I think today my topic, I'm going to share with you a little bit more about entry prices. I think it's an important topic, and also, how does URA decentralization, help you actually maximize the value of your home? And of course, at the end, we also talk about a very, very, important and exciting launch, which is actually Norwood Grand. So I hope, this next 1.5 hours or so, I'll be able to impart as much, market knowledge and insights as I can to you. Can I start the session proper? So I hope you guys can hear me loud and clear. If you can you just click the, I don't know, the raise hand button, right? So I know that you guys are all ready to go. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. So I get some engagement and I get good energy to share more with you. Okay, so before I even start going, yeah. So more importantly, how's the market, right? So market talk is very, very important, right? Before we even go into the product itself. So how's the market so far? So maybe just give you some quick updates. So I think recently, we are always clouded with the different news and headline readers, right? So we are actually all headline readers. We always read the headlines and then we forgot all the in-betweens. So, the past few months, there are different types of signals in the market. For example, you will see, private home prices flattening, and, low sales in Q2. And then on another news, it will state, private property prices gain, but some persistent high interest rates, so on and so forth. Then another news article will come out. Singapore home prices rise again, defying sales slowdown. So look at all these news. Which is it is real, which is it is, kind of a hype. So I think end of the day, we always share with my clients. I always get my agents to also share with our clients. We must look into the numbers. Okay, so we cannot be just headline readers. So what are the numbers? Because numbers don't lie. Okay, so how's the market in terms of numbers? So if you look at over the past 5 years, definitely in all segments of the market, it's all going up and healthy, right? So be it the HDB market, the condo market, the landed market, it's all healthy. So if we were to zoom down a little bit to the micro, how is this year, right, or the last quarter? I think in all segments, we do see improvements in price, right? There's price growth. So as much as headlines can, sometimes be happy or sometimes they're a bit more negative, ultimately in terms of pricing, in terms of real estate prices in Singapore, we're relatively stable and it's all going up towards the, a growing growth direction. Okay, so you can see the private property, this year itself, 1.9%, landed properties, 4%, and HDB market is also near 5%. Okay, so everything has went up already. Okay, and I think I just want to pull into attention to one news recently, because some of the agents always ask, some of our clients also ask, hey, what's this about? So let me show you one more news. Okay, recently there's a news, right? They say Singapore home sales reached lowest in 20 years. Wow, so is this a scary news or is it a positive news? Okay, so you see this again, there are headline news out there. So, but you must understand the fundamentals of real estate. Okay, what are the fundamentals? The fundamentals is demand and supply, right? It's about demand and supply. It's not about how many transactions. It's all about demand and supply. Now, what is the low about? So if you look at the numbers, we only look at numbers and statistics. Is it that bad over the last 20 years? So what has been low? The news article low is actually the new home sales market, which is the pink in color. Okay. But if you look at the overall transactions, okay, this last quarter this year, even if you look at the whole 10 years, okay, I think we are still relatively stable, right? So we are better off than COVID, definitely. After COVID, there was a boost in demand. Even before that, right, in the year 2015, we're probably also doing better, right? Of course, 2017 slightly better. So if you look overall the last 10 years, we are relatively healthy. Okay, but of course, headline, what is it focusing on? It's focusing on the new home sales market, which is the pink color, that I'm doing some highlights over there. So why are there low transaction volumes? Okay, so what are the numbers? Okay, for the first 5 to 6 months, we actually have very low transactions and sales in the new launch market. Why? Some clients say, hey, is it the market is no good? People are not buying. Is that the case? But actually, no. Okay, one of the reasons is because we have very, very, very low supply. Okay, and we don't have big launches, right? The recent launch last weekend, we only had like, a few units sold, right? So it's like only like near 200 units launched. So it's a very small launch. They are not like 1,000 units, 1,005 mega developments. So you will not see a lot of transaction volumes because there's no supply in the market, right? So in terms of real estate, so if you look into the numbers, why are there no transactions? Because no one is selling. So of course there's no transactions, right? No developer is selling. So when you see this kind of news, what happens, right? So of course the government is also, they want to keep the demand and supply constant, so they have to push out a little bit more supply. So that's the reason why, this year itself, you see that the URA, okay, they actually roll out programs, right, to push out more supply to the market just to match demand. Because, I always tell my agents, sometimes demand cannot be delayed. I mean, demand can be delayed, but it cannot be destroyed, right? So you can always delay demand, but you cannot destroy it. When people want to buy a home, every year there's this amount of people buying. We cannot stop it as well. So when this kind of supply, comes to the market, it won't be so soon as well. But okay, with 11,000 units come into the market, when will the real supply come in? Okay, by the time they put the land for sale, we wait for developer to bid, later 3 to 4 months, they close the tender for the developers to plan a project to launch. It will probably 1.5 years to 2 years later. So even as we want to increase the supply, we also can't do it. Okay, so this is currently the market situation. The market situation is there are a lot of demand, but okay, we do not have enough supply to feed the market. Okay, they cannot buy their dream home. So this is what is happening in today's market. So with this, what are the opportunities, at least for the next, 3 to 6 months ahead? So as you know, as I showed before, these 5 to 6 months, we are pretty low, but we will see a V-shaped spike moving forward. Okay, why? Okay, because we're gonna have more and more exciting launches to be launched in the next 3 to 6 months. Okay, so in the next pipeline, we probably have close to 14 or even more launches. Okay, but you see, everybody stays in a different location, right? So some stays in the east, some stay in the west, some stay in the north. So doesn't mean all these launch, is going to flood every, the whole Singapore, right? So there's always northerners, southerners. Okay, so along the way, okay, this will actually be the catalyst, okay, to actually spur up all this buying demand. Okay, so why do I say that? Whenever there's a new launch in the market, whenever there's news, okay, actually a lot of people will come out, start to shop around, so they will hunt for their dream home. So this demand actually brings up prices around the area. So it is always repetitive. Whenever there's something that's launched beside something, the whole area will be excited, right? Or not? So you will go out, they will go out shopping. So actually, these actually push up prices. Okay, so all these things are something we take into considerations, when we are looking out for properties and when to buy properties. Okay, so do expect a V-shaped recovery in terms of transactions actually in the next 3 to 6 months to come. Okay, so also I think today I also want to talk a little bit more about mega trends. Okay, so what are mega trends? Okay, actually, recently, past few months, I've been reading up the news. Sometimes want to create some topics to talk to consumers, to my clients, to agents. I came across this article and I felt it's really important for me to stay very focused, okay, on real estate. But again, what to focus on? we should focus, this by PM, Wong. So he said, you should focus on mega trends rather than trying to predict the next big thing. And I just felt this statement struck me, right? So focus on the mega trends, so that we don't have to predict. So why is it important? So then I did some research about what are the mega trends in real estate, right? So because we are in the real estate industry, we want to empower our clients in real estate. So what are the mega trends in Singapore, in real estate that can affect prices, right? So that we have more confidence to look into whether it's real estate, even my cup of tea. Okay, so now let me just highlight to you some of the trends, okay? Because we don't want to just say, we just want to use a bit more statistics, along a period of time. At least you know what are the trends in Singapore. Okay, now, what is one of the big trends today? Okay, HDB or condominium, right? So today, I think there are buyers that are in the market. Some of them are buying HDB, some of them are buying condominiums. But what are the trends? Okay, the mega trends are not short term, not last month, but for the past 5 to 10 years. Okay, this is one of the big trends that's happening. Okay, HDB dwelling has declined. Okay, and private housing has increased. Okay, so this is not what I say. So this is what statistically is. SingStat is public data. You can always go and take a look at it. Okay, so you can see dwelling for HDB from around near 82% has dropped to around 78%, right? So HDB dwellers from 82 to around 78%. It has decreased over the last 10 years, right? So why is it so? Because they are looking to buy more into the private market, okay, from 18 over percent. Now there are 20 over percent people staying in the private market. So I think it's quite clear to say that, as Singapore starts to improve, we get more and more affluent. Singaporeans are getting, more and more knowledgeable, having more income. You will see that they tend to want a little bit of a lifestyle. Okay, so these are mega trends, So I also try to look at it, very in a holistic manner, so that we can actually share with our clients what is happening in today's market and where are the trends. So one of the biggest trends we see, yes, there are more people buying private property. Then who are the people buying private property, right? So we went a bit deeper. Okay, so we did some ERH did some survey, last year. Who are the people buying? So it is this group. Okay, more and more millennials in Singapore actually buying private properties. Okay, who are millennials? Just click the raise hand button. So if you are alpha, I think you shouldn't be in this chat right now or in this Zoom. So millennials are buying more and more private property, and it was actually a very big increase. Okay, those within 26 years old to 35 years old. Okay, we increased from a 9%, okay, just 9 years ago, to now 35%. Okay, so what does this mean? It's actually near to a 4 times increase in buyers in this particular age group. Okay, so this was a survey done by ERA itself, like is our ERA white paper. So if you look at the chart, okay, look at the chart. What's the average age of people that are buying today? On average, they are the 39 years old, okay, and they stand 35% of the market. Just 10 years ago, okay, I'm in this line for the past 18 years, but just 10 years ago, okay, this group of buyers in the 39 years old, they are not buying much. Who are the buyers then? Okay, those that are around 45 years old. So then it was then those were the people buying. But today you can see, the youths, okay, understand the market a little bit more and they are buying. So again, I'm a bit curious. Why is there this trend? So went a bit deeper. We dig a little bit. I think because why? Because today I think Singaporeans are getting more and more educated, right? So education is important, right? So there's financial education, there's investment education, there's different types of education. But you can see in terms of qualification, okay, you can see an increase even from the people in the university sector, right? So from a 27% to 36%. So people are getting smarter, and information now because of social media is everywhere, right? You can get it from TikTok, you can get it from YouTube, you can get it from newspaper. So it's very transparent. It's not like in the past, you want to have some specialized knowledge. We don't even have data. Everything is what the agents say. But I think today things are very different. Everything is all about data, statistics, trends, history, right? So these are how, why people have more confidence today, to enter the market. Okay, so one of the reasons is also because of knowledge, right? So we all also know, okay, it's just that we don't want to broadcast so loud. We also know that in the HDB, okay, it's a 99-year leasehold, right? So if you look at it on the investment point of view, okay, so if it's for the own stay point of view, to each his own, enjoy life, no problem. But if you look at it as an asset, as an investment point of view, okay, a 99-year HDB will depreciate along the way, right? So this knowledge is all public data, okay? We also know when is the best time to offload a HDB, just after MOP, not too old, you get good price of, around this period, right? 5 to 15 years. After which, maybe, depends on market, but it starts to depreciate every year between 1 to 2%, right? So this is what is happening. So that's the reason why if you want to look into an asset, and people are offloading and buying into a private condo. And then you say, Alex, isn't private condo also 99 one, right? What's the difference? Okay, what the main difference is this, for private condominium, even if it reach its older age of maybe 40 years old, 50 years old, there's this thing called residual value. Okay, so that's the point whereby you get a refresh in lease, you end up into a en bloc situation. Okay, so that's the reason why with all this investment financial knowledge, people are more willing, to enter the private market. So that's the only reason, right? They want to protect their wealth from depreciation. Okay, so that's one of the main reasons. Okay, so of course, also if you look, at statistics, we previously, in the year around, 2015, 2011, 2015, there were actually a lot of supply going to the market, especially in the HDB. Okay, so then, Koh Boon Wan, he actually introduced a lot of supply. This was when there was the most supply, in the HDB market. So I'm not sure whether, were you involved in the real estate market then, do you own a HDB then? During those years, okay, we do see cash above value in Punggol was like 80,000. After which, when all this ramp up when supply came in, it was below value by 80,000. So what's the difference in gap? Okay, the difference was 160,000. Okay, just because there were supply coming into the market. So this is a very important news that a lot of people maybe they've forgotten or they don't know how it relates to the prices. So sometimes we need to advise our clients to understand there's supply coming up again. So recently, okay, in the year 2021, supply also has came into the market. Okay, we cannot feel it because they are just applications. You can't feel it yet because by the time it applies, by the time they wait till the BTOs, complete is around 4 to 5 years, and then another 5 years of MOP, 10 years down the road, all this supply will start to come in already. So really have to take note of this. And if you look at another bigger picture, Singapore, we're reaching a aging population, right? So from there, you'll see a lot more, HDB coming into the market. So just take note of all this. So with all this supply, okay, we're always sharing with customers, take note, okay, you're going to see massive supply. This is the application for HDB BTOs. So in the next 5 years to come, okay, you will see that there'll be more resale. And what does this mean? Okay, this actually will add a little bit of pressure on the price. Okay, so we don't want to be so negative, lah, right? So it will add pressure. It won't crash, don't worry. Okay, so it just adds pressure. Maybe the property price for your HDB will not appreciate as fast, right? Because previously, when it was introduced, it tanked a little bit, right? 12%. Then again, COVID hit. Without COVID, again, there won't be this spike. So when COVID hit again, the government have to control prices again. They have to release supply. Okay, so we do anticipate some pressure, at least in the midterm itself. Okay, so these are things that is happening and it's statistics. Okay, so that's the reason why people are turning more towards the private property. Okay, so if you look at the private property, so we drew out a 10 years chart on private property prices. So in terms of the private, which is actually the green line, over the last 10 years, you can see its compounded growth is around 5% a year, right? So that's the private property prices. But what about HDB? It does grow, right? It still grows. It's just that it grows at a slower rate, right? At 2.6%. So again, so this kind of statistics is to highlight to you, it actually makes a difference later on in our lives. Okay, so just to share a little bit of myself, of course, I I joined this industry, 18 years back, and of course, I don't have all this knowledge, right? So I also came from a single parent family. I stay in a HDB as well. Okay, but again, I learned all this from my clients. I get all this information from my clients and also my own investments. Okay, so from there, I really, really do see a big difference. So if you have a chance to start off on the right footing, why not, right? All this knowledge weren't available to me last time. So what do I mean? Let's put it into real numbers. Okay, so today, if you really want to grow your wealth, okay, I just want to give you an example. Okay, so let's say you're looking to buy a property, right? So they say, okay, some of you want to buy a private property or should I buy a HDB? Now, imagine if you have bought a HDB, let's say this year at 750,000, just for example, okay, just for scenario basis, and it grows at 2% per year, not bad. Okay, and if you held it for the next 15 years to come, you would have good money, right? So from 750 to 1 million, wow, you actually own a $1 million home, which is not bad. But if you can afford, of course, if you can afford, and if you have a choice, if you enter any private property market, let's say 1.5 million. Okay, why do I make this comparison? Because HDB loans actually based on MSR, which is 30%, but for private property, it based on TDSR of 55%. So if you can actually get a loan of 750,000, technically you can afford nearly double of its value. Okay, so let's say for example 1.5 million. Okay, so at 4% growth compounded over the next 15 years. Okay, same time, same starting place. You guys start at the same place. 15 years later, I can say someone will end up in a different place. Some may be better off, right? Because they make a decision, okay, to buy the right asset. Okay, so if you look back, I have many, many clients, many, many friends. Anything that is this 4%, we're not giving you a pop-up figure. Okay, we're giving you real statistics. If you think back 15 years ago, any property that was 1.5 million, today it's all near $3 million. Anything, right? So I was dealing with Bukit Timah properties. A 3-room then was like 1.5 million. Today, there are also 3 million, 3.1 million, right? So it actually doubled just because of maybe 4% growth every single year. So if you look at this, okay, everyone in Singapore want to retire rich, right? Want to retire with more wealth. So when we hit ages that nearer to your retirement, that these profits you can actually use, to buy something else, to downgrade and have a better lifestyle. So end of the day, why are we, talking about real estate? Okay, it's all about the future, right? Protecting your asset, buying the right asset. Our end day will be the same, but in between, I think we want to live the lifestyle we want. So that's the whole idea of real estate investments. Okay, so then you say, Alex, will property price go up forever or not, right? Always have people come to me, Alex, will it go up forever or not? Why does property price, will it ever fall, right? So yes, I say there will be times it goes up and goes down, but you have to look at the big mega trends. Okay, so why do I say that? Okay, so I'm not going to say whether it go up or go down. I'm going to show you some statistics, then you will understand. Okay, so look at this white paper. This was actually a white paper by Singapore, government, right? So they actually came out around 2012 period, and they actually said that okay, they want to push population to 6 million. Wow, then there was that everybody get upset. Wow, why 5.3 to 6 million? Wow, so many people, very crowded, right? That was the ground stand. Then again, now we are heading towards 6.9 million. Okay, so what does this mean? Okay, what does this mean on the ground? So this means Singapore is committed to have more population, right? So this is just an estimated timeline. Okay, so if you have read the news just recently, okay, they are supposed to have 6 million in year 2022, but it was slightly delayed. So they managed to achieve 6 million, okay, this year. Okay, so you can see the 6 million mark has been crossed, okay, because of the pandemic. There were some delays, but at least that is the trajectory, right? That is the direction that Singapore wants to go. We cannot go against the trend. But once we go against the trend, I think we'll be trying to row our boat upstream, which is very difficult. So we sometimes have to go with the flow and follow, what is the mega trends that Singapore government has in stock for us. Okay, so in terms of population, 6 million today. Okay, 6 million, we still have 900,000 to go, right? So this is their projection by year 2030. They may miss a little bit, but that is the proper direction in terms of population. Now, what does it mean to real estate? Everybody needs a home, right? So with 6 million population, okay, how many homes do we actually have in Singapore? Okay, we have today 1.5 million homes. Okay, this includes your HDB, your condominium, your landed properties. Okay, so we have 1.57 million homes in Singapore in total. And how much population we have? We have 6 million population. Okay, so these are all pure statistics, pure statistics. Okay, and based on Singapore SingStat, how many people stays in one home? Okay, there are 3.11 people that will stay in one home. So that is the average household size. Okay, so it has decreased from 3.4 to 3.1. What does it mean? It means the household size is getting smaller, right? So we don't have so much kids, not like parents' era, or one family got 5 children or 8 children. Now, I think they're getting lesser and lesser. So household size is getting smaller. So with that, okay, if you use population of 6 million and you divide it by 3.11, let me show you how many homes are required today. Okay, so if you do that math, 6 million divided by 3.11, today Singapore requires 1.93 million homes today. Okay, they require this amount of homes, but we only have 1.57 million homes. Okay, what does that mean? It means that we are still on a shortage of 300,000 homes. Now, let me put this into perspective. What does it mean? It means that the demand, okay, today is always more than the supply. So this is how government keep in check our demand and supply. So sometimes as much as we worry, right? Actually, the government is more worried for us, right or not? But again, Singapore is just a very small little dot, right? If you open up the whole map, you want to find Singapore, you also cannot see the shape of Singapore. We are so small, and that's the reason why policies are easily controlled and tweaked, right? Just based on statistics. So they just have to keep in line not to have 3 million homes, then you are oversupply. So today we only have 1.57, which a shortage of 360,000 homes. Okay, so if you look into some of the data, launches by HDB and condominiums, you can see this year there's only 11,000 private homes. HDB, maybe I give you 20,000. Maximum, every year, 30,000. So you still need 10 years to launch everything, which this I feel gives me confidence that our demand will forever, I don't say forever, at least with this data, you know that every year the demand is always more than the supply. This is how we keep our prices in check. Okay, so in the event, if we are geared towards the 6.9 million, we will have a shortage of 600 over thousand homes. Okay, so we don't look so far, but this is just to give you guys some confidence. It also gives me confidence when I invest. I won't be worried that nobody wants to buy a home in Singapore. Okay, Singapore has the highest home ownership rate in the whole world. Okay, we have a 90% home ownership rate. Okay, 90% means 90% of Singaporeans own homes and want to own homes. Okay, so we are a very different country, versus some of our neighbors. Okay, so some countries, maybe they only have a home ownership rate of 50%, which means most of them prefer to rent. They don't want to buy. Okay, but in Singapore, our home ownership rate is 90%. So you know that the demand for homes are always there. Okay, so it's a culture to own homes, right now. Okay, so we're already being, trained that we have to get married, buy a home. So this is in our DNA already. Okay, so these are some of the really big trends that we must know. Okay, because if you are an investor or if you want to buy a property and you want to know the outlook, okay, this is the thing that we should be looking for. Okay, and of course, recently, okay, whether you've seen the news, there's also another bigger trend than this. This is just a Singapore trend, right? A population trend. Now, there is another global trend that is even bigger than this. So what's the global trend today? The global trend today is about market cycles. Okay, so recently, okay, the US Federal Reserve, made the biggest interest rate cuts in 4 years. Okay, so 4 years opportunity, it only happened last week. Okay, so what does it mean? Okay, US Federal Reserve have cut interest rate. Okay, so on a very simple explanation, okay, yes, it can be very complicated. There's a lot of things, stocks and shares, but let's look at real estate. Okay, this interest rate cut, okay, Singapore will also start to follow suit and cut mortgage interest rates. Okay, so this would, definitely will boost some of the demand. But again, what we say is not as important as statistics. So now let me show you some charts behind it. Okay, let me bring you a little bit to the past. Okay, so if you look at 2007, 2008, okay, they start to cut interest rate, right? So when they cut interest rate, what's the next thing that will happen? You will see an increase in transaction volumes, right? So transaction volumes mean more and more people want to buy homes, because interest rate is lower. And when there's more demand, definitely it will drive more, supply, drive more prices going up, right? So there was an increase in transactions when interest rate were to fall. Similarly, okay, during COVID, right? Because COVID happened, they cut interest rate, and then again, people start to buy homes again. Okay, wow. Then after that, market was doing very good. Okay, they need to increase interest rate. Now they cut a little bit, so it's actually quite predictable that we will see a increase again in transactions. Okay, so usually transactions will push up property prices because more people in the market to buy properties, right? So these kind of opportunities, when will it occur? So last week they cut rates, doesn't mean interest rate will be cut today, right? So it takes some time, sometimes between 3 to 6 months, maybe 9 months. This whole period, definitely you will see more cuts. Okay, so this is a global trend, and if you look forward on this global trend, okay, if you go and Google the Federal Reserve, the US, their trajectory for interest rate is going to keep cutting all the way to 2026 to 2027. So every interest rate cut, actually, it's a boost to property, demand, right? So this is why we say sometimes you want to invest, you invest in the right cycle, sometimes you just catch the wave. Okay, so these are very favorable trends, okay, whether is it global trends or the population that you can actually use as an indicator to actually invest in a property. Okay, then of course another big question. So say, Alex, wow, so what's the other big trend? So there are old and new condominiums. Should I buy a old resale or new? Which one actually give you better capital gains? Okay, so let's put a caveat here first. Okay, so to me, every property also will go up, right? It's just a matter of which property will go up faster, which property will go up, in the shortest period of time, maximum gains. So that I think is what investors always looking for, right now. If you look at 10 years, 20 years, you buy anything also good, right? But if you want to look at that 3 to 4 years, what provides you with better capital gain, faster, then you got to look at trends again. Okay, so what is the trend? Okay, the shift of buyer demand trends towards the newer property. Newer. Okay, so new can be brand new, can be the first 5 years. So newer properties, you will see buyers trending towards this. Why? Okay, why? For certain reasons. Why? First reason, a new property, when you pay your installment, is all progressive. Okay, so you don't pay everything one shot, right? So if you buy a resale property, if your installment is 5,000, you have to pay 5,000 every month. But in the event you're buying a brand new, your installment comes in phases, right? So progressively, okay, so you don't have to cough up so much money in the first 4 years. Okay, so this provides low cash flow, and yet you can make the same amount of profits, right? So if you have a lesser installment and you make profit, it's actually better than buying a resale, right? So these are some of the reasons why investors are choosing, the newer projects, because the loans are being paid progressively. Okay, what are the other reasons? The other reasons is because of the dollars that people make, in terms of buying a new property. And when it reaches its TOP, you get the keys and you sell, right? You sell, you exit. And based on statistic, 99.4% of people made money, okay, which is profitable, okay, in the first 4 years, when they get their keys. On average, 200 over 1,000. Okay, so with this kind of probability, so you can see when statistic is there, knowledge is out there, probability is there. That's the reason why investors have confidence to enter the market. Okay, so you buy at the very start. Okay, everybody starts at the same line, right? So when you start to buy, okay, usually people don't want to take loss, right? So they are always trying to hold out. And then when it TOPs, you get to see the property. Wow, looks more beautiful. So from then, you will have much more demand. People can see the place, they can use the place, right? They can rent it out, they can stay, they drive past, they look at very beautiful stuff, they can see the size. That's where you will actually have more demand, because this category of buyers, they will never ever buy the new launch because they are very conservative. They want to see the actual thing, right? So I always share my clients, those who are willing to take the risk will make the reward. Okay, so I say again, so there's those who are willing to take up the small little risk will make the reward. And what kind of risk am I talking about? Okay, buying, through plans. Wow, some people cannot take it. Wow, I see floor plan, I cannot buy. I must, I must feel it. I must sit on the sofa. I must look out of the window. So for new projects, you can only buy off the plans, right? So you can also only look at show flats. So, but what's the risk? What's the risk of buying from a direct developer in Singapore? Is it high or low? Okay, if you look at the Singapore context, the risk is very, very low. Because why? URA is very strict. Singapore government is very strict. So again, okay, I can say with this very, very low risk, you're able to make good profits by the time you collect your keys. Okay, so that's the reason why many people are willing to buy off the plans, wait up for 4 years, make the money, and without thinking so much on whether I should repair my toilet, fix the light bulb or aircon breakdown, a tenant very hard to find, tenants giving problems, never pay rent. You don't have to have all this, right? You omit all these problems, and yet you can make some good profits. Okay, so these are just some of the reasons why. And you can see, it's not what I say, it's what the prices say by itself. The people are buying, prices are going up. So the new launch prices are, gapping up quite a fair bit, because they just want to make it as an investment, as an asset. So for the first 5 years of this project lifespan, okay, I can say there's a very, very huge demand down there for opportunity to make some good money. Okay, now let's look at real statistics. Okay, real statistics. Okay, so let me pull some, because today we're going to talk about Woodlands and Norwood, but let me talk about Watertown. Okay, so in Punggol, let me pull you back a little bit in history. So in the year 2011, for example, okay, so when Watertown was launched, there was a lot of complaints, say, wow, price very high, why it was so high, higher than the resale price, because all the resales were around, down here, right? Wow, 900, 1,000 PSF, and then someone is selling for, wow, 1,000, 3,004. So there was a big gap of 40%. Okay, but if you look, because you fast forward, 10 years, okay, did the prices went up? Everything went up. Okay, so whether is it the resale, whether it's the new launch, everything went up. But which one went up a bit more? Okay, you can see Watertown went up a bit more, because why? The trend. What kind of trend? People want to buy newer properties, right? So that is the reason why prices are always holding. Okay, and can Watertown price drop to resale? This amount cannot be, because a 1-year-old car, okay, can never be cheaper than a 10-year-old car, right? Cannot be one. So there will always be this what we call gap, right? So even 10 years down the road, okay, they will still have this gap. So sometimes we share with clients not to worry, right? So it's always this trend. So whenever there's another new launch here, then you will see another line up here. Okay, so this is how prices work. Now, let me give you another example. Okay, Helion, I guess you guys know where is Helion Residences. It's in Bukit Panjang. Similarly, there was a condo called May Spring, right? So it's a resale condo. That time also around 900 per square foot. The new launch at wow, 1,004, 1,003, 1,004. So there was a gap. Again, you look forward. If you have bought a May Spring, maybe you didn't profit as much. Okay, but if you bought a Helion, what happened? You actually made a bit more money. Okay, similarly, based on the fact that people want to buy newer properties. That's the whole idea, right? So these are some of the mega trends that is happening in today's market. Okay, so I also want to bring to attention an exciting launch that's up and coming. So also why are we previewing this in the next a week or so 4th of October we will be previewing this project called Norwood Grand. Okay, so if you have heard about it, good. If you have not, I think I can take this chance to understand a little bit more about Norwood Grand. So now, where is Norwood Grand? Norwood Grand is actually in Woodlands. Okay, so later I'm going to share a bit more on the transformation there. Now, what is Norwood Grand? The tagline, true luxury has arrived in the new north. Okay, why new north? Because Woodlands, for those who are staying there, maybe but for a lot of those who are not staying there, okay, maybe they only have the mindset of there's Woodlands, there's this place called Causeway Point, and then it's the easiest way to go to JB, right? So that's the only thing you know about Woodlands. But in Woodlands, there's a lot of transformation, and there's a part that's what we call a new north. Okay, so later I'm going to share a bit more on the transformation. Okay, so this is a project by CDL. Okay, so in summary, what is the project about? It's by CDL. Okay, it has 4 blocks of 11 stories, 348 units. So this is a medium size to big development with full condo facilities. So it has basement car park, it has a landscape deck, it has swimming pool, and it has tennis court. I know some people I have no idea why they want the tennis court. They don't even play, but they still want the tennis court. But okay, we do have a tennis court, and we have a 50-meter lap pool. Okay, and of course, its vacant possession is around 2030, but not to worry. Now it's year 2024. Next year is 2025. Usually, it will be 1 year to 2 years earlier than this, okay, because this is on paper. So when you get your keys, usually be earlier. So in due course, we'll update you guys when will be the TOP. Okay, and car park lots, 80%. I'll share with you why. Okay, we are by the architects are ADTP Architects, and builder it's Warhub. Okay, so it's by CDL. I think CDL needs no introduction, right? So everybody knows CDL. Okay, they're reputable. They have built properties in the suburban all the way to your CCR high-end properties. Okay, so a very big range of experience, more than 60 years in Singapore. Okay, and of course, ADTP Architects, also a very reputable, world-renowned architect. Okay, so we're going to show you some of the design concept for Norwood Grand. Okay, so Norwood Grand, I think there is a word that we always use, or not us, for the architects, they always use this word called arboreal architecture. So this is where we were thinking, very sophisticated words. So we want to Google and find out what is it. So anyway, there's arboreal architecture, which means, okay, dwelling together with landscape. So such a beautiful word. So it's actually engaging us to understand landscape and staying within the landscape itself. Okay, so and in this development, you will see a lot of curvatures, and of course green landscapes and trees in the development itself. Okay, so it's going to be very beautiful. So I'm going to show you where you will see some of the curves. Okay, so you'll be seeing some of the curves, at the drop-off area. Okay, and also in the clubhouse. Okay, we'll see some nice curved walls and forms. There's also a treetop walk. Later I'll show you some photos. Treetop walk. And there is a early development childcare center, okay, in the development itself. Okay, so again, some of it's landscape with trees around the development. So this is the architecture itself. So on the night view, on the evening view, okay, you can see this. There's going to be 4 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 blocks of 11 stories. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Very nice, architecture. Okay, with a 50-meter lap pool down here. Okay, so you have nice, beautiful curves at the grand arrival drop-off. Okay, so I think design is important. You're going to stay in a condo, so I think we want to appreciate some art itself, right? So you need something that is grand, right? You're going to buy a condo, right? So make it grand, right? You can invite your friends along. You can see some nice, beautiful trees. Inside it has cut a hole in the roof, right? So these are just very beautiful designs, modern designs that you get in a modern condominium. Okay, of course, in the landscaping, you get a 50-meter lap pool. You do have a cantilever gym down here that overlooks the pool, right? And you will have a treetop walk down here, okay, approximately 50 meters. Okay, so we always share that this treetop walk is something like walking the Henderson Wave, right? You don't have to go down to the south. You have one at home already. Okay, of course, some architecture curves. Not only is it architecture, it also serves as a privacy, right, for those who are in the gym itself. Okay, so you have some landscape decks, along the pool itself. Okay, so this is the cantilever gym that we are talking about. Okay, so yeah, you can exercise overlooking the pool, with some privacy as well. And of course, on the right, there's also a dance studio. So today, health is wealth. So we want to talk a lot about health today, in all developments. Okay, so this is how the treetop walk looks like. Right, so very beautiful treetop walks. You basically, you have nothing to do. You want to relax, just chill out. You can always walk on the treetop walk. And what's below? Okay, you do have some cabanas, right? So these are just some outdoor space for you or your kids to enjoy. Okay, now where is Norwood Grand located? Norwood Grand is located in Woodlands along Champions Way. Okay, so for those who are staying nearby, maybe you're familiar. For those who are not staying nearby, it's actually just right next to Woodlands South MRT. Okay, so it's just a 3 minutes walk away from the MRT. Okay, so Woodlands is actually one of the biggest town. I think it's the second biggest town in Singapore with more than 250 residents in this township itself. Okay, so it's a very big township, and it's important to know because if it's big, means there's a lot of residents, means amenities and facilities are all ready down there, and you get good demand because it's an ecosystem by itself. Okay, so it's a very big town that a lot of population is down there. Okay, so this is another aerial view, right? So you have Norwood Grand down here, and just right next door, you have your Woodlands South MRT. Okay, so it's just one MRT to the Woodlands that everybody knows, your Causeway Point down here. Okay, so it's just one MRT away. So overall, okay, this whole area is a little bit a newer estate. So if you are there, you can drive around, you see a lot of construction, there'll be HDBs around. And so this is where, Norwood Grand will be just next to Innova. Okay, now let's look at the bigger transformation, which I'm really, really excited to share because I just felt a lot of buyers, investors, and even agents, we don't know this thing. So I felt we should understand where the plans are for the government. Now, what are the biggest transformation, in this area? Okay, you may not have seen this. Okay, this is actually the decentralization plan, by URA itself. Okay, by MND. Okay, this is the government's proposal to decentralize CBD. Okay, now what is interesting? Now CBD, okay, is very crowded, right? So they don't want everybody to go here. So they have to decentralize. So where do they decentralize? To the decentralized people in the east, your Tampines Regional Center, also your Jurong Lake District, and also your Woodlands Regional Center. Now, Woodlands Regional Center is actually the largest, okay? It's the largest decentralization region economic hub in Singapore, okay? So you have seen a lot of transformation in Singapore. Now, where was the first transformation? First transformation came in CBD, right? So you guys know this thing called the integrated resort, the IR. So if you guys have bought properties there, you probably have made a lot of money. Okay, then after which they started to decentralize to the west and the east. So you have your Jurong Lake District. Then of course you have your Paya Lebar Air Base, your Changi, right? So this is where people start to decentralize. But now it's time for Woodlands. Okay, so if you want to be early in the game, you want to be early in the transformation game, now Woodlands is the chance really because these two have already passed its era, right? So people already know their transformation. But now Woodlands, what was the last launch in Woodlands? It was 12 years ago. Okay, so they have nothing for the last 12 years. Now, sorry, pardon me. Okay, so last 10 years, you can see where the prices are heading. Because of transformation, okay, you can see the OCR, which is the outside core region, actually has the most increase because of transformation. Okay, so they actually had the most number of increase because everybody is now pushed towards, the north, the east, and the west of Singapore. Now, what's in the north? Okay, there's this thing called the North Coast Innovation Corridor, okay, where you have your Punggol district, your Senoko Food Zone, okay, your food innovation, and also some eco district. So this whole place, okay, in summary, what does it mean? It brings in industries, it brings in population, right? People want to work there. Okay, if they work there, they probably have to stay around there, right? So if you're Singaporean, if your office is in the north, no choice, right? You got to be staying nearby. If not, you have to travel very long. So with more jobs created, more businesses, there will be more population. Okay, so this is where the biggest innovation is. Now, in terms of Woodlands, we probably only know a few regions. Okay, so maybe I'll share with you. There's this thing called Regional Center. Woodlands Regional Center is broken up into two zones. Number one, you have your Woodlands Central. Everybody knows Woodlands Central because Causeway Point is down there. Maybe that's the only mall you all know. So yes, this is Woodlands Central. Now, on the north to it, there's this place called Woodlands North Coast. That's the reason why we are saying this is the new Woodlands. Okay, so the new Woodlands, because there's a lot of transformation down here. It's going to have future industrial, future business park, future commercial, future housing. Okay, and there's the Republic Poly down here. So all these things are, you can see the size of it versus Woodlands Central. So it's going to be very, very, very exciting down here. Okay, and you will have it's connected by this thing called the Central Spine. Okay, so it's connected from Woodlands North Coast to Woodlands Central. So again, with all these things, what does it mean? More businesses, more offices, more jobs, more demand for housing in the whole of Woodlands area. Okay, so if you look at Woodlands Central, okay, we all know this. So there's a lot of F&B, you have your Causeway Point, you have your entertainment, okay, offices down there. Okay, and of course you have your recent Norwood Square, a lot of F&B down there. Okay, so this is the place that everybody would have been, okay, because it's ready, right? It's a ready place. Now, of course, your Woodlands North, which I just mentioned, is going to be 70 acres between Republic Poly to all the way to the waterfront. You have lots of greens and it's all connected, okay, through this belt itself. Okay, so this is where it's going to be a new cluster. Okay, and what's the main highlight of this place? There will be a Woodlands North MRT that is connected, okay, to the RTS link to JB. So this is the place that will connect you to the rest of the world. Why do I say rest of the world? Because Singapore is just a very small dot, right? When you cross the causeway, you'll be opened up to the rest of the world. Okay, so we are actually very, very connected to Malaysia, okay, just with the RTS link itself. Okay, so in Woodlands, okay, these are just some of the highlights. Okay, recently there were news that talk about the 6 stars of Woodlands. The first star, we have the regional center, which I just mentioned. Okay, second star, there will be a 1.9 kilometers community link, which is called your Woods Vista, that links this Woodlands North Regional Center to your Woodlands Central. So there's this specialty, so they call it the star. And of course, in Marsiling, there'll be a new Discovery Playground. Okay, we renamed to Marsiling Park. Okay, there's also recently opened a Woodlands Health Campus. Okay, so this Woodlands Health Campus, I think, is a very important campus because in Woodlands, it's such a big estate, right? So in terms of emergencies, I think in the past you had to travel to Yishun or Sengkang or maybe even Jurong. But I think with this health campus, it does the whole region, a benefit, okay, because I think regardless, health is really important nowadays. Okay, so of course there's also a community nexus that house from the elderly care. I think we want to age gracefully, so there's a community nexus down here. You have your dining, you have your retail. Okay, and of course you have a social corridor, right? For those who love the greens, it's connected from the west all the way to the east. So there's this corridor here. There's gardens, and for you to just have enjoy the greens itself. Okay, so these are just some of the highlights itself. Okay, and of course, need not to say, Woodlands is more than 20 schools. So when we want to type it out, also quite difficult, right? So, but in terms of 1 kilometer to this Norwood Grand itself, you have next door your Innova, you have your Siling, you have your Woodlands, Woodgrove, and of course your Woodlands Ring Primary School. Okay, so these are just some of the schools. So actually in Woodlands, north, south, east, west, there's development. Too much for me, too many for me to cover also. So if you're ready to read in depth, okay, north, south, east, west in Woodlands, there's a lot of things going on. So that's why I say don't miss the north trend. Okay, Central, CBD, Marina Bay, done already. On Jurong, you know what's happening is ongoing. It's not completed yet. You still have your Jurong Lake District all the way to your, Greater Southern Waterfront, ongoing. You have your east, right? You have your Changi. They also know about Tengah. You know about Paya Lebar quarters. You have your Bayshore maybe in the next 20 years. But the north, people forgot because why? Okay, because why? There isn't much development down there. But because for the last 12 years, there is nothing. There's nothing. So nobody talks about it. Okay, so this time round, Norwood Grand is the first launch in the last 12 years. That's the reason why I say please spend some time, can check out with our ERA salesperson, drive past, go there, have a chat, go and explore the zone yourself. Okay, and of course, the biggest transformation, okay, you may or may not heard it. I think by now everybody should know already. Yeah? There's this thing called RTS, Rapid Transit System. This is the biggest, point of staying at Woodlands. So for most of us, because we are staying at Woodlands, you connect yourself to the world, and then when you travel to Malaysia, I think you enjoy, better shopping, maybe more variety of food as well. Okay, so what is the RTS? The Rapid Transit, system link. So it's linking Malaysia, JB, all the way to Singapore. Okay, so this link itself, it only takes 5 minutes from Woodlands to reach Malaysia. Okay, and today it is 90% completed. So this is a aerial view from Malaysia. You can see it's already 90% completed already. Of course, the target date it's 2026, but you can see it's more or less done already. Another, I think it's very soon already. Maybe not, no need to wait until 2026. But again, on paper, it's 2026. We're 90% done. Okay, so what's the RTS? It's a project by Malaysia and of course Singapore SMRT. It connects 4 kilometers from Bukit Jangah, JB, all the way to Singapore. It's connected at the station Woodlands North MRT. Okay, so this will actually bring in 10,000 passengers per hour. Okay, so it will probably be ready in the end of 2026 itself. Okay, so as you can see another map, you can see from Malaysia, all the way linking to directly linked to Woodlands North MRT. Okay, so the project that we'll be previewing is actually Norwood Grand. It's 2 MRT stations away. So there's a Woodlands and then there's a Woodlands South MRT. So from there, you can connect to JB. So it's going to JB, Malaysia to enjoy is faster than going to Orchard Road. So I think your spending power will be better there as well. So that's the reason why we want to travel to JB sometimes to explore something different. Okay, so again, this is another map by itself. It's just 5 minutes, okay, from Woodlands North MRT connected to JB. Okay, so just a 5 minutes right away. Okay, and what's interesting, of course, through this RTS, there's going to be your immigration counters, okay, inside the place itself, so that you don't, it's easy access. So all your passport can be, done very easily, at this RTS itself. Okay. Another thing about what's going to happen in JB is this Johor Singapore Special Economic Zone. They call it the SEZ. So end of this year, they'll be having another meeting. They're going to do a lot of what we call business incentive zone in JB itself, or in Malaysia. So the news dubbed it as Shenzhen of Southeast Asia, right? So like Singapore, we want to do business. I think they're actually setting up a zone in Malaysia so that business can set up offices, can set up their warehouses and, get their manufacturing done in Malaysia, right? So this is a good thing for businesses in Singapore. So when this happens, what's going to happen to Singapore? Why is it good? It's because Singaporeans who always, do business people who are having this kind of connections in Malaysia and travels, they definitely want to stay nearer, right? But if not, how are they going to commute to Malaysia every day? Okay, so this is the reason why, I think connecting to the rest of the world is really important. Okay, so if you look at the landscape, the master plan for where these zones will be, so you have your different zones, right? You have your JB, you have your Nusajaya, you have your, your port areas, zone D, zone C, and of course your zone E. So different zones actually for different reasons. But end of the day, what's more important is that we're going to have a lot of favorable operation saving costs, right? By the Singapore Business Federation, they said that 93% of businesses really eye to, have business setups in this area, okay, this special economic zone. Okay, so this would make Malaysia, JB more interesting, and we want to just live near all the excitement. Okay, so this is the reason why the rise of Woodlands is really clear. So it's really under the radar. Okay, you can see, okay, over the last 4 years itself, actually Woodlands have quite a good capital appreciation. So imagine you enter early, okay, there's still a lot more potential because trust me, it's still under the radar. Okay, so if you buy Woodlands, okay, who will you be selling it to? Okay, so I think more importantly, after which I'm going to share a little bit on after you buy, who are you going to sell it to? Okay, who are you going to sell it to? Now, this is a very important survey that ERA has done 2 months back. Okay, so ERA actually did this survey called My Dream Home Survey with 1,700 over recipients, okay, so of different age group. We just want to see what are the top perceptions and choices clients, would make when they buy a property. So overall, in summary, there are only 3 points people, perceive as value. Okay, so what's the 3 points? Number one, affordability. Everybody wants cheap and affordable, right? So affordability is very important. Second, the size of the property. So this survey is very important because it surveyed so many people. So we can't be too far off. These are the priorities in the top of the mind of all buyers. Number three, transportation, right? Proximity to public transportation. These 3 points alone, if I get it, this will be my bull-eye investment because these three things will settle everything because the rest not so important already. Facilities, got tennis court, not also not important. School also not important. Got potential, not also not important because these three things are direct drivers of demand. Okay, so that's the reason why, recently I've been very busy talking to agents and clients because this survey only came out, like 2 months back only. So we're really using this information to share with customers, okay, why affordability, size, and transportation, what type of properties should you invest in? Okay, so that's today, I'm sharing with you Norwood Grand. So what is Norwood Grand? Norwood Grand has actually a good mix of sizes from 1+ study all the way to 4-bedroom premium. Now, what does size mean? Size means if there's a choice of getting a 1-bedroom and a 1+ study, which one will you get? They want to get the bigger size. Okay, so that is the reason why people always want something bigger. Okay, so this development starts with 1+ study and 2 bedrooms. The 2-bedroom sizes, okay, 624 square feet. It is a 2-bed, 2-bath. Now, size. What is the important thing about size? Because a lot of developments, they are 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom. So these developers, they know that, people want size also, right? So they are building 2-bed, 2-bath, which is more, favorable to the market itself. So these are the meaning of size that we talk about. Of course, you have even bigger ones. You got studies. Your 3-room deluxe. Later, I'm going to share with you some floor plan. Our 3-room deluxe, okay, they actually have a study corner. It didn't indicate here, but all our deluxe have a corner for study. Later, I'm going to show you. And of course, for the proper study, it's a bigger study. Okay, you have also your 4-bedroom, okay, deluxe plus study at a 1173. Now, this 1173 is a sweet spot for many. Okay, later I'm going to show you a floor plan. You will say, hey, Alex, 4-bedroom, 1173 is small. Okay, why? Okay, it's actually not small. This project itself is harmonized. Harmonized meaning some of the aircon ledge is not included. If you were to buy a resale, you might see 1,003 square feet, but actually their usable is only 1,001 because all the sizes goes to the aircon ledge, bay window, odd corners, very big balcony. End of the day, your usable space is also 1,001. So today, okay, if you look at when you buy properties, try not to just look at the size on paper. You have to visit the show flat, see the floor plan, because ultimately it is effective sizes. This is the URA requirement on the harmonization. Okay, so 4-bedroom premium, 1,003 square feet, effective use of space. Later, I'm going to show you some floor plans. Okay, now the 1+ study, I only go through the important things. Okay, so 1+ study, we only have one type and 3 stacks. So very limited units, 30 over units only, right? 31 units. So it's definitely going to sell out because demand and supply, right? So out of 348 units, only 31 units is 1-bedroom plus study. So you have a proper study in this area where you can, use it as a flexible utility room or a study, or you have a single bed for guests, up to you, right? So this layout, I think it's nice with a good extra space down here. So space is important, huh? And it also comes with your balcony. Okay, now two rooms, okay, which we mentioned, it comes with a two-bedroom, two bathrooms. Okay, so this is the smallest two room we have, two bathrooms, which is good for if you're looking for to stay for yourself or even for rental. Now, if you look at it, okay, the master room has a toilet, okay, and the second room also have an attached toilet. So this is like buying a two-bed, two bath with two master bathrooms, right? Two master rooms, because this is like the junior ensuite. So you have two rooms that have attached bathroom. This is a very beautiful, what we call a dumbbell layout. Okay, so you have one room on the left, one room on the right. So you have full privacy and you don't have long walkways. Okay, so this is a very good layout that maybe you can speak to your agent. They will share a bit more on the highlights itself. So I'm just going through with you some of the main ingredients. Okay, we have our two-bedroom ensuite study. Okay, I think this layout itself, you have a special study in the master room. Okay, so this study area, you can make use as a study, you can make use as a bigger wardrobe, or you want it as a nursery, right? Sometimes you have a kid, a 1 year old, 2 year old, or you want, you to make your wife happy, it's a bigger dressing area. Okay, so this again, it equates to extra size, right, to the unit itself. Okay, so this is quite a nice layout. The two-bedroom ensuite, only 11 units, so please take note, please. It's not easy to get, so but it's one of the better layouts. So there's only 11 units down here. Okay, the three-bedroom, sorry, the show flat is a 2+ study. Okay, you can see this is a proper study area, which you can actually enclose it if you want. Okay, there's an aircon up here. You can use it as a study, your piano area, or you say, I don't want this, I just want to have a bigger dining area because I want to host my friends. Or you like cooking, right? So you want to have a big island countertop down here. You want to have cooking, baking classes, or you are an artist, you want to have some workstation down here, up to you, because this study is really very big. Okay, so you can take a look at this. This is actually one of our show flat that you can actually visit, on the 4th of October itself. Okay, so this is one of the key highlights for this two-bedroom study unit. Okay, your three-bedroom, the smallest size we have is 872, but it's very effective, okay, because all this aircon latch is not included. Okay, so you may see in the resale market, 1,002 square feet, Alex, very big size. No, all the size go to all these aircon latch everywhere. So end of the day, you also come back to square one. Okay, so look at it. It's very effective, okay, and it has a study corner, which you can have your, small piano, or you want to have a display, a corridor, so this is where I think after the pandemic, the developer actually understands the value of having a study, right? A workstation. Okay, you have to do your Zoom like what I'm doing. You have to come here. Better than if you don't have a study corner, where will you be? Right, you will be in your dining room itself. Okay, so I think having a proper study corner, it's really good, good to have. So this is your three-bedroom deluxe. Okay, the other three-bedroom deluxe, you have a little bit of difference in the entrance area, but overall it's the same. You have your study down here. Okay, so just a bit of difference in layout in the entrance area. Okay, you have your 3+ proper study. Okay, as mentioned, the whole study area here, this is the signature, right? So you can, as mentioned, change it to your utility. You want a close-up study, your gaming corner. Again, similar to just now, that 2+ study. So this whole area, feel free to make use of it. Okay, so it also has an open kitchen, wet and dry kitchen, so something unique. So the kitchen actually is part of the living area, so it's make it more modern and beautiful looking. So this is the three-room layout. Okay, and why is the size good? Take note, all our units, the common bedrooms, can fit a queen size bed. Okay, so uniformly, all the units here, the common bedrooms, all can fit queen size. Your 1 bedroom, your 2 bedroom, your 3 bedroom, your 4 bedroom, everything can fit queen size. And all units have a balcony. Okay, so this is the common things that we have in all the units down here. Okay, all the units also face north-south facing on it. So very, very good layouts and facing. The 3-bedroom premium study, okay, you can see, okay, they have a very nice big study here, whereby if you don't want it to be a study, it becomes your living area. Okay, so this is like a bit more flexible use of this study. If you want it to be a living, it can be a landscape kind of a layout living. So today people like this kind of a big living area. Okay, so of course you have your home shelter, wet and dry kitchen. Okay, so this is your 1044 premium study. Okay, the other premium study similar, just a mirror image, a little bit in the difference in the entrance area. Overall, you still also have your study in your living. Okay, so it's going to be a nice big living dining area. Okay, now comes to the 4 bedroom, the 1173. This is the perfect layout for 4 bedroom. Okay, the size is good. If you have 1173, means your overall quantum is also lower, right now. So this is one of the most affordable data. I'm going to share with the prices or guide price. If you can get a 4 bedroom, this is the perfect layout and size. Okay, why? It has 4 proper sleeping bedrooms. Okay, you have a home shelter. Okay, with a WC in the kitchen area. You also have a study. Okay, so this study has windows. So you want it to be a guest room, it becomes your 5th bedroom if you want. Okay, or you can make it into a walk-in wardrobe or just leave it as it is, like a study. So as a 1173, it technically can become like a 5 bedroom. Okay, so because it has a window down here, so it doesn't have any waste of space, and it has a big kitchen. Okay, so I think this layout, it's only 2 stacks, so very limited itself. So go and explore this layout if you can, because at 1173, you times the per square foot, it's going to be the lowest quantum 4 bedroom in the whole of Singapore new launches. I think this is going to be very exciting. Okay, and of course, if you want a bigger 4 bedroom, for those who say that I really want to a bigger space, so then you have your 1313 square feet. What's the difference? You have a larger bedroom, you have a walk-in wardrobe, you have a one additional balcony in the master room, right? So if you like to have, I don't know, some people want to have the chill out, you want to have wine in your master, during a movie, no problem. You can have an additional balcony lifestyle, right? So you want to have a balcony in your master. Yeah, this is the space that you'll be paying for, right? Lifestyle balcony, and also your walk-in wardrobe. So we have this 4 bedroom premium study layouts. And you can see let me see, and you can see the dining area. Okay, it's also there's wet and dry kitchen down here. Okay, and also your study. So we have another layout similar, slightly bigger in the entrance area. Inside around 1313 square feet, but you get a bigger walk-in. You want to have more cabinetry. You want to have more walls to put art. You want a grand entrance. Then you get this private corner 1313 square feet. Okay, so these are the layouts for Norwood. That's why I say sometimes size, you have to deep dive into the floor plans. Okay, now then who do we sell to? Okay, guys, Singaporeans are getting richer. You can see there are more and more $1 million HDBs that's up and coming. Okay, as much as sometimes over the news, some people are happy about it, some are unhappy about it. But if you are a property owner, okay, you will be happy about it, right? Because you're making good money. And if you're an investor, you will like it because when people make money, they have more money to purchase your property, right? So you can see our median income has grown just for the last 15 years from $3,000 to 5,000. So income of Singaporeans have actually went up quite a lot already. Okay, it's really went up quite a lot. So we only use statistics, to let you understand that where is the buyer demand. Now, who are buying private properties? People with income that is 15,000 to 18,000 and above, right? So this will be your top 20% in Singapore, right? So they will be the ones that are buying private property, right? If not majority of Singaporeans, we will be owning HDB, which is okay, but this is where you want to target, right? These people are the ones that want to upgrade their lifestyle. Okay, so making 15,000 to 18,000, okay, is not too difficult in today's market, okay, because most people that buy private property are all within this range already. Okay, so if you look at real data and statistics, okay, if you're making 15,000 household income, they can afford easily a $2 million to all the way to 2.5 million. So this is the budget and affordability for Singaporeans, right? So just now I talk about size. Now I talk about affordability. Okay, so we cannot just focus on price because we need to understand who is the one that's buying. Can they even afford? Okay, so at 15,000, which is the top 20% in Singapore, easily they can already get 2 million. So if you have something that you can get below 2 million anywhere in Singapore, it's going to be a safe buy, right? You can get 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9. It's actually easier to offload in future because they can all afford 2 million to 2.5 million, right? So this is based on statistics. Huh? Okay, and who else? People that what make money from all the EC. If you have EC friends, wow, sure everybody is laughing and cheering all the way to the bank, right? Because they bought it probably 10 years, 15 years back, and all these red little dots are where all your EC owners are. So if you were to buy something in Woodlands, for example, in the north, you can see where's the strength of the market, right? They're all in the north and northeast, right? So these two areas, they all are making good money and profits from all the ECs. How much are they making? Wow, I see they're making good money, 50 to I don't know, 50% to 70% gains in terms of capital gains. So it's not in down payment, it's capital gains. Okay, so it's really a lot of money out there. Okay, so HDB owners, they're also sitting on good profits. So take note, this is where you'll be exiting because when you invest a property, you must know who you're exiting to. Okay, in the north, you have your Yishun, Woodlands, Sembawang. 26,000 household in the next 5 to 10 years. They will make a bit of money, right, from their MOP. That's where they buy condominium. So in Woodlands itself, if you want to stay in Woodlands, you want to stay in a new condo, sorry, you only have one condo called up and coming Norwood Grand because for the last 12 years, there's nothing there, right? So these are the customers that only want the trend, the newer one. So that's the reason why we have a lot of confidence and faith in new things, especially when there's no supply in the market. Okay, so this is what we call pent up demand. Okay, so even Woodlands also got $1 million transactions. Last year they have 14. I think this year they're gonna be more. Okay, so take note. Okay, I think prices are increasing. I think end of the day, what we want to do is we want to ride the wave, or we just don't want to miss it out. Okay, now last but not least, I want to go into some of the pricing analysis. But before I do that, okay, just want to caveat first, we do not have any prices from the developer. Okay, so these are just our own guide price and our own judgment of the market. So take this with a pinch of salt because I think we don't have prices yet, but we do know and estimate maybe they're around this range. Okay, so I'm going to show it to you. So this, I think, is for you to consume, not for you to post on social media. I hope that's the case because it's really for you to analyze whether should you enter the market. Okay, so let's look at it now. One bedroom. Okay, we only have 31 units of one bedroom. In the event, okay, if they were to sell, okay, at 2,001 per square foot on average, in the event, we will be going at 1.0x million. Okay, only 30 over units in the whole Woodlands. At 1.0x million, if you compare to anything else in the rest of Singapore, one plus study, you cannot find anything. Okay, Lentoria, the entry prices are 1.3 million, sorry, 1.27 million, which is a good 200,000 cheaper. Even if you look at the east, you have Cassia Grand Diamond Continuum, Cassia at Changi, 1.1 million, Pasir Ris, right? You have your East Coast area, minimum entry price, 1.4 million, right? So your Norwood Grand is going to be 400,000 cheaper. Of course, in the west, you have your Mist, Lake Garden, and Sora. They are at 1.2 plus million, which is still 200,000 cheaper. So this is what we call safety net, right? So you buy at a very, very safe price. Don't have to worry because everybody is going to be more expensive than you. Of course, need not to say the CCR areas, 1.4, 1.7 million. So that's the reason why I believe this one bedroom definitely sell out. So we don't have to even push because the demand is definitely there for small units just right next to the MRT. Okay, so if you're looking for one bedroom, okay, please be prepared. It will definitely sell out probably on the weekend itself. So take note of it. Okay, now second, okay, if you have a little bit more budget, you want to have open yourself to more investment opportunities as a stepping stone for your next dream home, you can explore the two bedrooms. Okay, our two bedrooms are 2 bed, 2 bathrooms. Okay, so in the event, it's like 2,000 plus per square foot. you will only be paying 1.2 of a million. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, everywhere in Singapore, okay, a two bed, two bath will probably be around 1.5 million plus minus. Okay, so anything below that, okay, we assume it will sell because why? The one and two bedrooms will make up 46% of this whole development. Okay, it is about affordability. Okay, it's not about price, it's about affordability because today they are making good income, they cash out from the HDB, they cash out from the EC, they will go after these kind of properties. Okay, so 1.2 over million, maybe 1.3 over million, right? So you look at Lentor areas, 1.5 is your entry price. So you're 300,000 kind of cheaper. And of course, you look at Kasia, 1.3 million, quite near to our price. Everything else, sorry, 1.5 to 1.9 million. Two bed, two bath. 1.5 to 1.9 million. There's a lot of difference. Over in the west of Singapore, you have your Hill Heaven, 1.5 million, right? Sora in Jurong areas, 1.5 million. Okay, you have your Terra, Hill Heaven, the Hill at 1.8. So it's 1.5 to 1.8 million, two bed, two bath, entry price. Okay, so guys, if you have missed anything in Singapore in terms of investment, you ask me, take this chance, use this as your next investment to buy your next dream home because if you don't enter at this price, everything else is going to be more expensive, right? Need not to say your core central areas, a two bed, two bath, is going to be 2 over million, right? So you see your Grange, of course, these are the higher ends. But again, you see in terms of Singapore, we are just one small dot, okay? You have your east transformation, your west transformation, central transformation. It's really time for your north transformation. Okay, so for those who are looking for the three bedrooms for own stay, for example, okay, we divide them into the below 1,000 square feet and the above 1,000 square feet. So below 1,000 square feet in the event is 2,000 or maybe even 2,001. Okay, you'll be looking at 1.7 plus million. Now, how does it compare? 1.7 plus million you enter. Today, all the resale market in Woodlands are all around 1.5 plus minus. Okay, you can look in the resale market and their sizes, although you may see 1,001, sometimes you see 1,002, but their effective space is also 800 over square feet. Okay, so sometimes when customers ask me, I say, show me your floor plan. I will show you that it's not as effective because long ago, they don't have all these harmonization rules by URA. Okay, so that's the difference. So 1.7 over million, you look at the Lentor areas, is already $2 million. So it's going to be a 300,000 of savings. Okay, look at the east area, 1.8 is your Changi, Pasir Ris areas. If not, it's going to be 2.3 million. So it's a very big jump from 1.7.8 to 2.3 million. Okay, so the only way you can go to these areas is you have to invest somewhere first, the next 3-4 years, 5 years, make some gains, and then you upgrade into a location that of your choice. Okay, so in the west of Singapore, Hill Heaven also 1.9 million plus the Mist also Bukit Panjang 1.9 million. Okay, Jurong 2 million. Okay, nearer to the this Buona Vista areas 2.5. So you can see we are probably price point is very palatable at 1.7, 1.8 million, depends on high floor, low floor. Okay, so of course, a CCR need not to say. So this is a very, very bite-sized 3 bedroom, okay, which I believe also would sell very well. Okay, so the above 1,000 square feet, okay, the bigger units, you have your premium, your studies, probably in the 2.0x million. How does it compare? Lentor areas, maybe 2.1 plus 2.2 million, sometimes even 2.6 million, right? So it's a big range down here. On the east, I think you'll be getting at 2.6 million, 3 million, 3.4 million. So it's quite a big jump from 2 million to 3 million, right? So of course, you have a Seneca, not bad, the 2.2 million, okay, 200,000 more. Or in the west, okay, if you look at the Mist and it's 2.3 million, so it's 300,000 more. In Jurong, it's 2.2 million. So if you look at Woodlands, we are 200,000 lesser than all this. So in the whole of Singapore, okay, I can say even for the next 3-4 months, you will not be able, I say again, the next 3-4 months to come, if you miss Norwood Grand, there's nothing that will be in this price range because everything else will be in other areas and it'll be more, expensive in terms of quantum and in terms of per square foot. So affordability would definitely take a hit if you cannot even, look at Norwood Grand. Okay, so for the 4 bedrooms for those who want the lifestyle. Entry price, if they were to launch at around 2,000 plus minus, it's going to be 2.3 to 2.4 million, right? So at 2.3, 2.4, how does it compare? Okay, everything else is 2.6 million plus minus in Lentor areas. East Coast definitely crossed the 3 million mark, right? 3.3. You have a Seneca, Tanah Merah at 2.2. Okay, you have your Pine Tree, 3.1. On the west of Jurong is 2.6, right? Hill Heaven in Hillview is 2.5 million. So you can see it's a good size and a palatable entry price as well. Okay, so this is a reason why we say it's affordable. Okay, so affordability is always about income, right? So that's the reason why you should take a look at it. Last but not least, okay, we are the only condo near the MRT in Woodlands. Nothing else, right? So Norwood Grand is just 3 minutes walk to Woodlands South MRT. Everything else, I don't think it's that near a walk. Okay, so if you're looking at, that's why I say if you're looking at affordability, you're looking at sizes, you're looking at convenience to MRT, this is my bullseye project. Okay, so these three things will determine whether you will profit or not. Okay, so I think that's my take. Okay, so I think for those who are keen, please reach out to our fellow ERA agents because we're going to preview on the 4th of October very soon already. Yeah? So make an appointment with them, and I believe they will share more details with you. Okay, so I've come to the end of the session. I really hope you guys have enjoyed some of the analysis and some of the trends that I've shared. So that's all I have for tonight. Thank you so much. I can be taking question and answers, no problem. If not, feel free to reach out to any of our ERA teammates. And thank you. And I'll see you guys at Norwood Grand this 4th of October. Yep. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex, for the insightful sharing. Hope you have gained more through this session. Norwood Grand will be open on the 4th to 15th October for public preview. To have more Norwood Grand details, please feel free to contact your ERA trusted advisor that have invited you to this session. So that will just bring us to the end of tonight's webinar. Thank you and good night.